Most of my clients approaching 30 now, they tell me that they had digital sex before they had actual sex.
Everything has the word step, taste. How much is that being shaped by these platforms?
If you find yourself obsessing about fucking your next door neighbor is just projection surface.
Our society has traditionally viewed promiscuity in males versus females would be shamed, usually by other females.
If you're struggling with the idea of having to perform, that's going to help you. Do you feel like you're cheating when you're watching porn?
Is watching porn normal?
That's not even my idea. I think it's Emily Nagoski who started her book like that. But normal is everything that anyone does. So by definition, it is part of the human experience and therefore it is normal. So if you watch porn, it's normal.
How is porn affecting relationships?
For younger people, I think the way that it's affecting relationships is very different than for people, I'd say 35 plus. Because us, meaning I am 35 plus.
Are you classing people that are 35 plus as old?
No. What I'm trying to say is that we did not grow up with the same kind of media. So the first porn that I saw was like 70s porn, like VHS porn, right? And that's not like there was no close-up shots. People were super hairy, so you actually didn't really see anything. There was a lot of plot and storyline to it. It's very different from like online amateur porn, where it's just like straight to the bit. It's, I don't know, approximately like 4 minutes in length. So it's very, very different. And that, I think, does have an influence on these like younger people, because a lot of times this is their first contact to visual intercourse. So saying that lots of kids today, for example, they watch porn before they have sex, which is now like the new normal. Whereas
really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I never heard of that.
It's a thing. Like they're like 10, 11, 12 at school showing each other porn sites.
So you said it's normal for younger adults, I assume, to watch porn and then have sex. So this is what, like Gen Z?
I'm guessing, yeah.
Yeah, like you're saying
Really
like sub 35 or
yeah. I think most of my clients that are approaching 30 now, they usually tell me that they had I'll say digital sex before they had actual sex, like real life penetration, or I don't know, let it be petting, but like so there was like chat rooms, there's porn, there's like dick pics. They've had contact to that, all of that, before they actually like proper made out with someone.
So you mean before they had intercourse or before they just were intimate in any way? Okay.
Most times in any way.
Yeah.
And I do think that has like a very special kind of effect, because that shapes the picture that you have of what sex is supposed to be. For my generation, specifically people that are older than me also, let's say in their 40s, 50s, 60s, they had no such precise idea of what sex is like before they had it. And then they experienced it, and then they could tell like, oh, this feels good, this does not feel good, right? And then sometimes you have like your peer groups and they will tell you. And then, of course, there's like messed up information in that too. But it's a lot less than when you have the whole fucking internet and all of this media that kind of like, because when you watch porn, there's very little porn that reflects on how it feels good for the participants. It's really more about how it looks either it looks good or it's supposed to look very vulgar, or it's supposed to like serve some kind of kink, which is all fair game, but it's from what I see in my work, it does give you this pre-notion of like, this is what you're supposed to do. And like, we have this phenomenon of like how vanilla sex is like unacceptable now under younger people. And I'm like, well, vanilla sex is kind of what we all did for the first like 15 years that we were sexually active. And then someone's like, hey, actually, there's a lot of like weird, kinky people out there. And now that's kind of the new normal, because they watch these porn. And I remember being in contact with like Deep Throat first time when I was like, I don't know, maybe 18, 19, 20. It was shocking to me. It was a little shocking to me. I was like, wait, what? She's
well, the first time you heard about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, it was interesting what we were saying there. I was thinking, I'm pretty sure I had watched porn before I lost my virginity. What about you?
I mean, yeah, wait. No, yes, technically, yes. But in my mind, the classification, it doesn't fit the classification for porn anymore. That was what
okay,
porn
because it was
was.
the 70s Bush.
Exactly. I did not see anything, literally. It was more like a sex movie, I'd say.
Yeah. I'm not sure I can like remember. Like, obviously, like I totally remember like the sorts of things that, like in the UK, we would say like Channel 5 after like 11 p.m.
Yeah. There was like late night TV things. Yeah.
But there was also like, I do remember like when the internet became a thing, and then you'd have some friends where they didn't have the child lock stuff on,
Yeah,
and then you could like but it's hard to recall. I don't
How old
think
are you, Nathan?
I think we're the same age. I'm 36. Are you?
I'm 37. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so I'm 37. Well, next year. I'm not far off 37, but yeah, I think. But I don't. I think that's the key thing, isn't it? I don't think it influenced me. It was kind of like, regardless, it was kind of like, whoa, that's like,
Exactly. It was kind of like, whoa, that's weird.
yeah,
fascinating in a sense, of course, but I don't remember this to have like an imprint on me, rather than just being like, weird, okay, gross, wow. It's just like, it did not show reality to me, also because what I saw was like old, so it was also like, people aren't that hairy anymore, like that didn't fit my current reality, so it's very different.
That's a really good point as well, and I think like if I recall, like it was always older people as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they were well over 30, weren't they?
Yeah. And that maybe, and then maybe that was kind of you have like the nudist culture and stuff like that. Maybe that was born out of that, where people were just a bit more liberal, and the next minute they were getting into porn or whoever. But
yeah, and we definitely did not have the barely legal porn. I think that's also something like very new, where we did not get to identify with the people who were making the porn, whereas now young people, that's obviously not real, but they are told like, hey, this girl is like 17. Right? Which is bullshit, by the way. She can't be 17, it's illegal.
Yeah, I've never seen that, actually. I didn't like, because that's such a, okay. So, but is that, would that be illegal if they weren't 17? So if they were of age and you say it's 17, Is that not legal?
No. Oh, I think technically you can say anything.
Okay.
I think when it's around proper violence, so like there will be rape porn, and they have to declare that that's not real. Um, I think also with like she's 17, probably they also have like a disclaimer of like, hey, she can't be 17, it's illegal. This is just like blah 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 blah. And then sometimes they have this workaround where they call it like barely legal, and then they don't mention the age, but it's like the whole schmuzz around it. It's like the stepbrother thing that stems from actual sibling porn, but then there was like in several countries there were like lawsuits against that, and then they had to start calling it stepbrother porn or stepsisters porn or stepfather porn.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, and it seems like that's like such a big portion of it now. Like from speaking to guy friends as well, I was like, is it just me, or is like everything like has the word step? And it's like, it's almost like, and it makes me think about your taste, if I can call it that, or like your preference. Like, how much is that being shaped by these platforms? Because they're serving you things up. The counter argument to that will be, well, the algorithm is just your taste, right?
But like it makes more extreme things available. That is a factor.
Say more.
So if I would have been no contact with porn in my whole life, then my taste would have been developed by my experiences. Right? Like maybe there would be a little bit of like mind games and blah, 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 and more like abstract meta shit. But after all that I can reference is what I do or don't. Whereas these online platforms, you might never have known that there's something in your brain that gets activated if someone says, I'm going to fuck my daughter. Right? That would have never been available to anyone. So, and then also what gets activated might just be this neurological thing of like, it's something extremely taboo.
Yeah.
And it might not necessarily be about fucking your daughter, just about like breaking taboos, which in the past would have been just regular anal sex or whatever. And now it's just going to more and more extremes because people are also kind of neurologically becoming a little numb to that.
Yes.
Because the taboo, like the limit of the taboo is lower and lower over time. So it has to become like weirder and weirder at the end.
Yeah, I never thought I was affected by that because I remember I remember someone saying to me once that they would watch something and it would start out kind of like fairly vanilla, and then but this is in like one night, and then you can tell it was a woman because guys wouldn't be able to do this. 20 minutes done, 5, and then but she would say she would go like like down this rabbit hole of like more and more and more and more and more and more extreme. And I was like, whoa, like, I'd never sort of came across that and thought about that, but yeah. And I suppose when you're in a situation there where in a female kind of biology is you're able to kind of like do those iterations much faster. Is that fair to say?
I don't think so.
No.
I think so. The thing is that from my client base, compulsive usage of porn or visual material, explicit visual material, is much more common in my male clients, actually. And that usually comes with this like going down the rabbit hole and further and further and further to a point where they're like, people are describing this like feeling of disgust with themselves
Wow.
at a certain point, because this is so far away from what they in real life actually do want to play out. And then it's like I can imagine that it's like a really weird dissociated kind of feeling at a point where it's like, what the fuck is happening here? Like, I don't, I've never seen myself fucking my sister, but somehow I'm in it now. And I don't know. I haven't watched porn in a long time, so I'm not up to like what's the thing now, because it changes over time.
Yeah, I haven't watched porn today. Would they? So on that point, are you talking about like these guys like within one session going down this rabbit hole, or is it just like a
No,
long period of time?
it's a long period of time, and it's compulsive in the sense usually that it becomes more and more usage, and it feels more and more necessary. It becomes very difficult to leave that out of like their regular sex life. So it becomes an element in everything, in every like sexual interaction that they have. Sometimes it becomes like an actual substitute for sexuality with other people. Um, mhm. No, it's over time. It becomes more intense. It becomes more compulsive in a sense. So it's like at a certain point, it's like they're just very tense and stressed about things, and then their go-to is like watch porn, jerk off.
Yeah,
Because it works well physically, but neurologically, it's a lot of people also notice that you get tired. It's not like it doesn't help you regulate in the sense of you're feeling capable. It's regulation in the sense of you have a release, but then you're also like trashed out afterward.
yeah. I think, and moving slightly away from porn, but maybe on like the masturbation conversation. I think we've talked about this before, and it's like, I think it's the story that you tell yourself, isn't it? Like, if you're, let's say you've had a stressful day and you decide to, put on porn and masturbate, then, and afterwards you go, maybe have a nap, whatever, and it genuinely kind of works and you don't feel disgusted with yourself. That to me feels like the key
Mm-hmm.
differentiator. Whereas if you do it and you're like, oh, I feel disgusting, I'm a piece of shit, I'm a loser, whatever it may be.
Yeah,
I think being aware of that is probably key.
it definitely is. And also, um, I guess the main question to ask yourself is also always is, do you feel capable of other ways to regulate? It's just if this is like your one tool, and that's kind of bad news. um, if it's one of like 3, 4, or 5 tools, it's perfectly fine. It's also, I think, if you find yourself being a little very drawn to specific kind of storylines. So not saying like so a lot of people feel drawn to amateur porn, which I think is instinctively and kind of natural. Like you're looking for people who actually have like real sex,
Yeah.
and best case they're enjoying what they're doing, so that like it resonates. Like there's your what are they called? Like your mirror.
Neurochemicals.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have like mirroring.
Oh,
Uh,
mirror neurons.
yes.
Yeah.
So I think like that's something that's like logical. But then if every time someone needs to get like fucked in the face, somehow raped, or it has to be like a certain kind of intensity, then there's probably something going on, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that self-awareness around if you're continually attracted to a certain thing, watch that. I think, no pun intended. Like, so obviously, well, a lot of people use a VPN, right? So good for privacy or whatever. But also it will change your algorithm. So I've often thought, well, that kind of makes it, it's like shuffle.
It's like when we used to listen to the radio and we just had to.
Yeah, like, all right. Do you remember Google used to? I think they may still do that. I'm feeling lucky button.
Yeah,
I used to love that. Like, just like a random result. So so maybe that's a good thing. But then also, I have noticed some like you connect via some IP address via VPN, and you're like, whoa, what the fuck is this? Do you know what I mean? Like, because lots of people are connecting to that server.
I see. Okay.
And then it's built up the algorithm history of like all these fucking weirdos.
And it's like people fucking fake horses or
yeah, like not that specifically, but it's it definitely comes down to this self-awareness piece. Got to be.
And I mean, just to be clear about that, I don't think so. Everyone has like very specific fantasies, for example, and lots of times what people look out in porn has like resemblance to these fantasies, and that's totally perfectly fine. Like, I don't mean to pathologize that when people are looking up specific kind of stuff. It's just about the intensity. If it's like, if it has to be degrading all the time, if it has to have this, like, if you notice yourself that you need more and more intensity in whatever you're looking for, then that's just an indicator. It's a little bit like with substance abuse. It's really just the same indicator.
Very similar, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe like and to be fair, like obviously I'm like candid, like saying that I've like I'll use porn, but also I've gone through periods of abstinence, where I just don't have anything, and that's also good.
Yeah.
I think it's good to kind of like reset a little bit. Like if you notice you're like a little bit over reliant on like
and as you said, this feeling afterwards of like, if something feels gross, it's just time for a break.
Yeah.
It's also like, you don't have to make the biggest deal out of it. It's just like, you have to take a break, obviously, because something like, it's more compulsive than it is actually satisfying.
Yeah, I think, and like I've spoke about this with some of my guy mates as well, and I've been like talking about like if you're able to like masturbate without porn.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because if I've done like an abstinence from pornography, then like you go back to like imagination, right? And they're like, most of them are like, huh? Like, how'd you do that?
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah,
it's a real problem.
And I was like, yeah, but it's like, it's actually like the most amazing thing, because it's much more natural when it arises in you. And then you're just like feeling it, rather than kind of like, okay, I go to a computer, I go to phone screen, whatever it may be, to carry it out, rather than the trigger being like, yeah, I'm just like, I'm kind of feeling this.
Also, if you're consuming something in order to masturbate, you will not be in contact with your physicality, with your body. You won't feel like So a great question for that, for example, is I will ask people is like, how many different kinds of orgasms did you have so far? And if people tell me like, what do you mean, one? Then I'll ask like, what does that feel like? And I'll have like very vague answers to that. And then I can tell, okay, because they're relying on this kind of dissociated contact, right? Because when I'm watching something, my concentration is there. It's not here. Whereas, for example, if you're imagining a story in your head, you have much more capability of being in contact with your body and actually like feeling what does that orgasm feel like, where can you sense it, or and this isn't about like something that's super abstract. It's just like, what does your orgasm feel like? And if someone's like, I don't know, it's just like, it's a lot, and then I come, and then it's a release. And I'm like, okay, well, is there any tingling? What's your breath like? Is there anything that you've ever noticed? Because if you haven't, you're sort of dissociating all the time that you're coming. And that's a little sad. And it's definitely, it's a very narrow frame for having sex with other people, actually.
Yeah, that's so true. Like the only part of the experience you'll remember is watching the porn. Then there's like a mini gap of disassociation, and then you remember the bit afterwards where you're like, oh, I feel gross or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's such a shame, isn't it? Because yeah, it feels like a million miles away from the point of sexual intimacy.
Yeah. And what I also noticed is that a lot of my clients that struggle with like erectile dysfunction, meaning that it's like somewhat chronic, or precox, meaning they're coming too early on, or like, and this is really just like a few seconds into intercourse.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think so far it's like 100% of my clients who have issues with that. There's a connection to how they dissociate in their orgasm, kind of. So, meaning that they're not in contact with their body. Whenever they are forced to have that, something breaks off. Like, it's either you're losing your erection or you're just coming immediately because it's too much sensory. The input is just too much. You're not used to it.
Interesting. Yeah. And it can just go either way, that one.
Yeah. Some people also then sometimes they avoid having sexual contact at all. It's also like, yeah, it's all of these things. It's just very sad. And it's really just about how you can relax into your body after all. Like, that's very specific to my field of work, of course. Like, I have very rarely conversations with people who do very well in their sexuality.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's I think as well, like there's a perhaps a like societal presumption on around expectations when watching porn, where it's focused on the woman, and rightly so. But there is an other conversation there around like expectations of the man, which is like, you know, being able to have like an erection for like 15 hours or whatever.
Like, if you just like a regular porn shoot is something around like 2 or 3 hours. Right. That's like, I have not heard of a human who can keep that up without like, you know, medication or whatever other
ecstasy
thing they're doing. Yeah. Yeah, when you've been out all night, right? But that's also not something that people are especially looking out for, you know.
Yeah. what okay, I can't help but ask, what do you think is the average, if you could guess, what's like that average length of the sexual interaction between a couple?
I'll say 5 to 10 minutes.
And so you class that as like normal?
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
a totally regular time frame. Some people, when they've been in contact for long enough, it will be like 2, 3 minutes.
Mhm.
Like they know what buttons to push. They're like well played in
Yeah.
without like, this is neither good nor bad. This is like what Esther Perel calls maintenance sex. That's fine.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes, you're going to bed, you have a little time frame, feels all right, good to go. 5 minutes,
Yeah. And
maybe a
like,
little cuddling.
and yeah, from like, like, and some of those, like, I guess you call it like a quickie, right? So some of those can actually be like some of the best experiences.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Like you say, short time frame.
Yeah.
It's like a productivity hack,
Yeah.
a forced deadline.
Yeah, sometimes it's
Pomodoro.
very real deadlines also. Sometimes it really is. Like
Yeah,
I work a lot with parents. Like it's a real deadline. They're like, okay, 15 minutes. How much do you want to talk?
yeah, yeah. It's interesting you say that 10 minutes thing. Like that I mean, that would make sense. Um, I think that's a huge thing where people. I think actually thinking about it now, like I've never had like huge insecurities or anything. Like I've been pretty comfortable around that side of things. But I think I've always thought like, oh yeah, it needs to be like 20, 30 minutes. Like I think
Yeah.
I've just had that in my head always is like,
Yeah. I'm
um,
wondering where that comes from, right? I think most of us have this idea of like, 30 minutes to 60 minutes. That's the goal.
do you think, wow, okay. Do you think it's maybe, I don't know. I was going to say, do you think it's maybe because like TV programs were like half an hour, but do you know what I mean? Like we're like
But then the full movie is
conditioned
like
to,
2 hours, right?
yeah. But then usually I suppose those scenes, like those 70s bush porn scenes or whatever, might have lasted 5 minutes or something.
Yeah, probably
I
less.
can't recall.
Like the plot was really long. I just remember the plot was always extremely long.
Yeah.
So they got to the actual fucking.
Yeah.
No, so I think so. I really resonate with this idea of like there's maintenance sex that we all practice, and it's just like when you're going to the gym. It's good for you. You'll feel good afterwards. You just go. That's why I also think like it's a good idea to schedule sex in long-term relationships without the pressure of having to perform. Like when I go to the gym, um, I will cut myself lots of slack. If I did go, I succeeded.
Yeah.
And then if I feel really good, I'll do my full program. I'll be hyped. And if I don't feel good, I'll just do bare minimum. And that's totally perfectly fine.
Uh,
Um, and then every once in a while, I'll have like a full blown session where I include extra stretching, where I include free movement, where I include like playing around with something that I wanted to try out. But that doesn't happen every time. It doesn't even happen every week. It probably happens like once a month, if it's a good month, you know. And I think we need to start seeing sex that way. Where if you're having a good month, maybe once a month, you'll have this like extra special kind of sex. But then that's also two people. So when I go to the gym, I have to account for one person. Whereas when I'm having sex, I will have to account for two people if they are actually in that state or not. So yeah.
I love that. I never thought of. There's many things that I like to do with connect to a training analogy, and never thought of it as sex. So I've got that one in my locker now.
And it really, because once you connect it, it's also like you will see people have very different mentality when it comes to training, right? There are people who really like force themselves, and you can tell they're not having a very great time when they're training.
Yeah.
And then in my head, I'm like, I don't want to have sex with you. You know,
Yeah.
like if it's that, oh dear.
So you recommend scheduling sex
In long-term relationships. If you've just met out, don't bring it in there.
not on the first date?
No.
11 p.m.
I shall be ready.
Yeah, put it in the diary. Is there, okay, some might say that would, does that not make it boring? Does that not,
It's what a lot of people think. But honestly, long-term relationships, is your sex not boring if you don't schedule it? Like if you're being for real, how exciting is it? It's either not happening or it's somewhat boring. So when you schedule it, all that you do is that you prepare yourself for it. Sometimes that gets you a little excited. Sometimes you're really not feeling it. And that's why I say it's like, it's very important that you're not scheduling penetration. You're not scheduling orgasms. You're just scheduling contact. And then each time you will have to see, what does that look like today?
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Is porn cheating?
No. I don't think so. It's too abstract to be cheating. How do you feel? Do you feel like you're cheating when you're watching porn?
I suppose, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a while since I've been in a relationship, but
Yeah.
I think so. Like in the example, like in my past relationships, I definitely would have felt that way. I think because it was kind of like hidden.
Ah.
Yeah. Like, I think now I would approach it differently. I think I'd be much more, I mean, look at me here, like talking about masturbation to the internet. So I think I would be much more open around the conversation. And I do think even in the last 4 years since I've been in a relationship, I feel like the conversation has moved on somewhat. And I don't know, like I don't remember like girls talking about masturbation as much as now.
Yeah.
Probably a generational thing, which has kind of moved that conversation along a little bit. You know, even I think back then in my previous relationships, it would be like, you know, like the thing where like girls don't fart.
Yeah, exactly.
I like girls don't masturbate. I think that's probably
Yeah. I remember that. That was a thing. Where it was like, no, I don't masturbate. And I remember because I was a girl, and I was like, what? You all don't? What? It was wild to me. It was like, but why not? And I remember when I started out as a therapist, I had a lot more clients who would tell me like, I've never masturbated. I've never like seen my own genitalia. I've never like looked it up, basically. Whereas that doesn't happen anymore. Like it's definitely changed so much.
Do you think there is actually a lot of women who don't, or do you think they're just like embarrassed about it so they don't admit to it?
I don't know. I guess like 50-50. I think there's a lot of women who literally don't fart when anyone's around. You know, which I also think is wild. But okay.
I've never heard, I don't think I've ever heard a girlfriend or fart.
No.
Might have heard my mum fart maybe once. Like it's not like,
I don't know, at some point you have to.
Yeah, 100%. It's funny. It's like that, you know. It's like Santa Claus or something. Like
It's like everyone knows
you get
he
to
exists, no one
yeah,
sees him.
you get to a certain age where you have to just realize the truth. Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of like there is, or there used to be, a lot of women who would try to hold up that picture of like, I don't masturbate, when in reality they did. And then I think there was probably also a lot of women who were actually shamed into that not
Yeah.
masturbating.
But
Definitely. It's like it's like years before the whole like boys don't cry thing. Like
yeah.
lots of boys would then like secretly cry, and lots of boys would put in all the effort to not cry.
Mhm.
Right?
How society has traditionally viewed promiscuity in males versus females, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like females would be shamed usually by other females, and I wonder if there's probably a connection there, isn't there? Because if all the girls are not talking about masturbation, and then one girl comes out and says, "Oh yeah, like I'm freaking myself off every night,"
Yeah. Yeah.
then you're
As I
stepping
said,
outside of the norms of the
I
group.
have been that
Yeah.
girl. And then you're like weird. You're like really, really weird. And this whole like, I remember being a teenager and just expressing that making out is like pleasurable,
Mm-hmm.
like how I like that, how I want to do that. It's like it's a no go. No, you're not supposed to enjoy that. Um, this whole picture that I grew up with, and I think a lot of people in our generation grew up with, is this like boys want it always, and girls are not supposed to want it ever.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's like the power dynamics that we were raised into, which is complete bullshit, obviously. And luckily, the younger generation does not grow up with that anymore. I can tell it's very different now. Um, but it used to be a thing for us. But I think that's also like probably had more of a religious influence, also, like at least from my family was a lot easier with that. Whereas most of the kids that I grew up with, they came from like Christian or Muslim families. And there was like a complete taboo. Mm. It is, however, this whole picture is and was hurting to kids. It's bullshit. Like, we've worked as a society, I feel like we've worked on changing that for women, but most of my male clients still have this issue of like having to perform 100% of the time, having to be available 100% of the time, because that picture for some reason has not changed, unfortunately. And I find it a real tragedy that instead of opening up that conversation, making space for this kind of like soft male sex, which exists. Like a lot of men really just want vanilla sex. A lot of men really enjoy cuddling. A lot of men really just want to have like, you know, look each other into the eyes, 5-minute sex. Like people enjoy that genuinely. A lot of men do not like casual sex with changing partners, for example. Like lots of my clients really struggle with that idea of like, I don't want to do that. I don't feel comfortable in it, and I do not enjoy the sex. They're looking for people that they trust, that they feel comfortable with, and that they actually can have a good time with. And instead of opening up this whole conversation, what's happening is that men are kind of being shut down, I feel. It's like everyone's so uncomfortable around this conversation, even women, that it's either you have to turn to like a more queer based peer group, or you have to go into the other extreme. You have to like shut down all of this wanting. And then there's fucking Andrew Tate, or I don't know, all of these like very, I don't know, like to me, they're kind of disgusting male images that are being transported of like, they're taking this pain and they're putting it into something that's even more hurtful. Like, to me, that's a real tragedy, because I do want young men to have male role models. And I think it needs to be more accepted that aggression is a healthy part of life, that that's vitality for men and for women. But somehow now we're only talking about how that's so dangerous and so toxic, whereas aggression does not equal violence. We're not making that differentiation for some reason. And then comes in these like super manly men, and they'll be like, yeah, this is your male trait. And in reality, violence is not a male trait. Aggression is a human trait. And like, men are just told to shut the fuck up about it. And then, of course, they find themselves in the woods eating meat, howling to the moon with their pals. Like, I'd look for that if I was in that position. I'd be like, yeah, fuck yeah, I want to feel like a fucking human. You know? So it's a little sad, and it doesn't help. Definitely doesn't help. And I think we're tabooing aggression altogether. But because for women, it has always been kind of a taboo. We have been more adapted to that. Whereas now this is like, it feels like it's going over to young men as well. Because somehow the idea is that if I have been cut from these experiences as a woman, then men should be too. Like, in Germany, there used to be like this whole discussion, or it's still going, I think, of how men should not be allowed to go topless in public places because women are not. And every time I hear that, I'm like, no, you're getting it all wrong. Like, instead of making people more free and more liberated, you're now saying that men should also be somewhat enclosed into this whole concept.
Yeah, that's interesting. I feel like most men would be happy for women to be topless also.
Of course. I would be too. I like titties. We all like titties.
If you're anything like me, you're probably good at starting habits, but fail to stick to them over the long term. There's probably one or two, whether that be going to the gym or taking the dog for a walk, but struggle to maintain others around career, relationship, or life goals. If you're a long-term listener of the podcast, this won't be the first time you've heard me talk about habits and leveraging public accountability. That's why I created Indiip, the tool that helps you build healthy habits and stick to them. After creating your free account, you'll be given your own personal public profile link, which you can share with your friends, your family, coach, or followers. And when someone clicks that link, you'll be given a real-time notification that someone is watching your habits. I can't tell you how much of a motivator it is when you're stuck in a procrastination cycle and this little eyeball pops up with a number next to it. My productivity has gone through the roof since I started using it. It's that effective. Luckily for you, I'm giving away 100 free VIP months to my podcast listeners. There's no credit card required. Head to indiip.com/podcast. That's deep with two I's, indiip.com/podcast, or follow the links in the episode description below. Let's start crushing our habits today. So what do you think the solution there is for young men?
It's very difficult, but, well, first off, you have to shut down your phone. Step number one is nothing good ever came from social media influencers, right? So there's the element in the internet, there's the element. And if you're 20, you're listening to this, listen to the old folks. The internet is for learning. It's for learning skills. If you put on YouTube, you look at fucking instruction videos of how to build walls. Okay? That's what YouTube's for. Instagram is for people educating you. right? People who have actual knowledge, whether it be experience, whether it's like scholarly knowledge, I don't care. But just random fucking folks shouting their opinions into the void. It's not good. It's not good. If you notice someone's like really, really enraged and whatever they're saying, that's not good. It's not coming from a place of intelligence. It's not coming from a place of well thought through thoughts, right? This is just my emotions. That's not. I'm not being productive to this society if I'm doing that. It's okay. I love emotions. You should have them, but that's not how you learn things. Is when people are shouting at you. It's a clear indicator. So you have to stop that, at least for a while. Like, if I'm being honest, stop social media. Start all new. If you have to use social media, be very picky. Be very picky of like, do I want to hear this voice or not? Think about it 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Someone influencing or inflating the picture of masculinity with gruesome traits, you can be very wary of that. If masculinity for some reason equals being cruel to someone, then something got mixed up here, because no human has to be cruel. That's bullshit. Like, aggression, as I said, is a vital emotion. It does not equal violence. That's 2 different roads, right? Like, I can be very angry. I don't have to hit someone in the face because of that. It's not A to B. Then look into the people that are actually in your life. Like, not the people that you see digitally on screens, but actual people in your life. Look at these people and then really think about what traits are helpful for me in these people. Which traits do I want to embody? What do I love about these people? Right? And at the most times, it will be something like people being empathetic or being very supportive. And it doesn't have to be with like people being very verbal about how they feel. That's not the whole thing. It's like usually someone who's very supportive will, for young men, equal into someone who is present, who's very present. That can be a factor. Someone who's actually listening, someone who's actually a person that you think like, I can call them and they're here in 10 minutes, right? And so you just have to actively think about who do you want to be, because everyone that you listen to will somehow have an influence on you, and you will have to decide who do you want to listen to more. And then come into contact with yourself, really. Like, masturbate without watching porn. That's one thing. If you want to take a next step, masturbate without thinking about any storyline. Masturbate just with your body, with the physical sensation of your body. Figure out what feels good and what not. That makes you able to relate to other people also in a very different way. If you're struggling with the idea of having to perform with other people, that's going to help you very much, because it will make you understand that, first off, it's not that easy. And second of all, there's no plan to performing with other people. It's like you will have to be attentive towards what other people want. And then you will get feedback from other people being like, oh, wow, this is actually feeling very great. And that's just because you're listening, you're feeling into what's happening, you're present. We're coming back to that. You're just present. That's all. And then you can be also vulnerable. Like, that's, I don't know, I just talked about it yesterday. It's really hot. It's really sexy. Being like, hey, I'm not good at this. Like, can you tell me what you like? Super easy, actually, if you think about it.
So girls like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. It's hot. I think it's really hot. Okay, look, I'm not all girls.
Yeah.
I'm the girl that at 13 told her girlfriends that masturbating is really cool, and everyone's like, oh my God, no. So of course there's probably a big group of girls and women who will be like, oh my God, what are you doing? That will find that a turn off. But then these girls are not interested in you as a person. That's the thing. That's how you select.
Yeah, they're looking for. They're probably looking
Entertain.
for
They're
a
looking for
they're looking
fucking
for a daddy, aren't they? Yeah. So, on the topic of porn being cheating or not,
Yeah.
I guess we would say.
I think you've said it. It's like it depends on if it's like something that you secretly do because you feel ashamed of it.
Yeah, because all relationships are built on trust, and if you start to have any secrets, especially those pertaining sexual stuff, then that's not a sound basis for a relationship, is it?
Yeah. And I mean, you can still make changes to that, right? I don't think any relationship is doomed because someone had secrets. I don't even, that's the thing, like from my work, I don't even think a relationship is doomed because someone cheated. Lots of relationships literally flourish after someone's cheated because then they were forced to look at like the issues that brought the situation at hand.
How do you feel about desire in general as it relates to maybe people who've been in relationships for a long time and managing desires or fantasies or whatever? Like, when should is there ever a case for like, well, fucking hell, I'm thinking about like sex a lot, or I'm thinking about like the next door neighbor way too much, or whatever? Are there any? Is I feel like you might say like all of this is okay, but it's like, is it ever like? Do you know what I mean? Like, what are the red flags to look for? Because I feel like sometimes maybe guys might think that they almost have to metaphorically castrate themselves in order to feel fulfilled in a relationship where everyone's getting older. Do you know what I mean? Like that the attraction drops.
Mm-hmm. No. So if you find yourself obsessing about fucking your next door neighbor, that's a sign that you're somewhat, I'll say, unhappy. You can word it any way that you want, but you feel like you're missing out on something, right? Your next door neighbor is just projection surface. This is just like where your attention goes in that moment. It could be anyone, right? This is something in long-term relationships. It's a real thing where it might just be you're plain old bored, right? Because you've done this a long time and you're kind of like you're longing for some excitement, for a new kind of sensation. And there can be different answers to that. Like some people will open up their relationship, have some kind of like non-monogamous model. That's fine. Some people will say like, no, that's not actually dealing with the issue that I have. And then you can look into that. I have no moral ideas about that, honestly. I just really think it's an indicator. If you're like obsessing about fucking other people and there's a reason to that, and you should definitely not have to like castrate yourself in a long-term relationship. If you feel like you have to like cut down on sensuality, on desire, on whatever it is, then something's wrong. Then that's not the kind of relationship model that's working pretty well for you, you know. with the flexibility of like there's phases in relationships where two people just don't always match. And I think sometimes it can be a good idea to sit it out for a while. But like long term, long term, if you notice, for example, you have a dynamic in which you're shamed for wanting to fuck anyone, for having like desires, then there's something wrong in your dynamic. Like it's not just that. I find it problematic that in a lot of like relationship dynamics, people will go on to like pathologize too much desire or too little desire. This goes in both directions, right? And I think that's just bullshit. People are different. There's different phases in life. Like some people react to stress with being very horny. Most people react to that to being not horny at all. Like that's just different kinds of people, really.
Are you aware of the ban on pornography in the UK? Oh, the age verification thing on porn
Is
sites.
that where you have to like tap the button, I am 18 and older?
More so. So now you have to verify your identity.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. We live in a strange times here in the UK. But I mean, there's a conversation there around, nanny state, whatever, Big Brother. But also there is we've had this conversation about minors accessing pornography. So, you could say both things there. I think probably there's maybe a bit of both going on with the government, because there's always well, if we do this, we'll also get this. We'll, have more control, we'll know what's going on, whatever, maybe, perhaps. So yeah, so now, you've got to verify with like a passport, something like that. So traffic's now dropped by UK porn site traffic falls by 47%.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
So interesting, but whether or not, I wonder if Germany's has gone up because people are routing their VPN via.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Germany is also extremely liberal with these things.
Yeah.
Like as I said, now we have like a starting screen where you have to tap like I'm 18 and older, as if people under 18 will be incapable of tapping that button.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've that's been in place for a long time, but they've introduced this. But it's a funny one, really, because like I spoke to like a few people. I think those are in a slightly older generation have just gone, no porn then.
Probably. Probably. Like, it's too much effort. Jerk off.
Or like, whatever. The slightly younger guys at their work are saying, you need to get yourself a VPN, Alan. What's a VPN? But yeah, it's an interesting one on the conversation on whether it's a positive thing or people are just going to find other ways to.
Definitely. I think if it's out there, it's out there. Kids aren't stupid. They're going to access it if they want to, of course. Like, we have these. You probably have these too, like these electric scooters on the street, and technically you cannot use them if you're underage. But in my neighborhood, it's all 14, 15, 16-year-olds that are using them. They're not dumb. They're figuring this out, of course.
Yeah, and it's probably selecting out those people who aren't good with technology, who are older and should be allowed to use it. And they're not using it. Yeah,
exactly.
Or their wife's like, "What's this subscription we've got? What's a VPN?"
Oh, it's for watching movies.
Yeah. I watch foreign movies. Yeah.
I think so. If I could decide the change that brings, I would be hopeful that people subscribe to actual human interactions porn kind of. There's a lot of alternative porn out there actually that isn't necessarily dehumanizing the way that this industrial porn
Yeah.
is. I think for me it's very, I find it difficult from my professional ethical standard. I just find it difficult that there's so very little porn on the big sites that just shows regular fucking. It's all so blown up. There's always degrading elements in it. Always. As you said, it's a focus on women. There's no focus on male pleasure, except for everything that they're doing actually only takes into account male pleasure, right? It's not about whether the woman is enjoying it, yet we're only being shown the women getting fucked. So I think that's a real issue. Because I think it's really hot when there's some guy who's really fucking into it. It's hot, but we're not seeing that anymore, right? People are actually upset. They're like, "Oh," and then there was this guy's face, and I'm like, "Yeah, well, because he's part of what's going on. I mean, come on, what's happening? If you're bothered by men and sex, and you have to start watching gay porn, I mean, that's the only logical consequence. And you actually enjoy lesbian porn. You don't enjoy straight porn, right?" And so there's a lot of alternative porn. There's wonderful creators who are super thoughtful with it. And I think once you've looked into that, you will also notice that it's a lot more sensual. It's a lot less just rough fucking. It's a lot more sensual. And that's what I think what actual fucking is that it's enjoyable to feel another person. Most men also, of course, the visual representation of someone getting railed does something to me. But at the same time, this is not what I am practicing in my bedroom, right? I want a different thing. This is really just what's in here, whereas what is in here is a completely different thing. And a representation of that, of people actually fucking with their whole body, I think that's also a lot less damaging to people.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, there's you see it on occasion. I can't remember that they have certain brands or whatever, but it is a more sensual. I was thinking then, I wonder if it's the central piece, because actually if you watch a couple having fairly sensual connected sex, you probably can't see that much.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
you're so interlinked.
Because two bodies are like this.
Yeah.
It's not, you don't see this.
No.
Because for this, it has to be widespread open legs. They have to be in very little contact, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's interesting is, you get those, I don't know if you recall or no, but there's it tells you the high points of along the bottom of where people watched it. And every time I'm not like those guys. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to stick it out, and I'm going to, I'll find something that I particularly, like or whatever. Nah, we're all the fucking same. And so there's weird how there's just little snippets. And I'm like, what is it about they can be totally random, but there's something about it. I don't know. Like a woman, she's like, I don't know, like you can see a little bit of a tit and like and there's something that just gets like the dopamine system where like, whoa, that's it. And like sometimes it's like 3 seconds and you can see everyone else is like spikes, like, oh, that's the bit. And all the rest of it is like we're not interested.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this kind of fascinating human behavior. Like what is it about those certain things that clearly must be mimicking some form of interaction maybe we've had before or that we will see when we're actually having sex.
Yeah, I think it's like we acknowledge authenticity. That's what it is, I think.
Yeah. What do you think about the sort of transition to like creator porno, like solo? You're now starting to see there's like sites now that are like all like optimized for like vertical, to be like a TikTok kind of scroll. Yeah, and they're doing like just solo stuff.
Okay.
Which is like totally different again, totally different sort of genre feel. And I was thinking about this. I wonder whether it's like now that's kind of like, although you're not seeing someone necessarily have sex, you've got like the eye contact, and it's like a version of like someone sending you a video that you're chatting to.
Yeah, I think I was thinking about when this like super rise of OnlyFans was happening. It's the same thing where I thought like, oh, I used to do this kind of like sex work actually before something like OnlyFans existed. I had a friend who had a website, and I did for another like website and magazine too.
You did.
I did that, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. I used to be young and crazy. No, but
you're gonna have to tell me more about this. You can't just.
that's the whole story. It was just like OnlyFans didn't exist back then. And then there was like sex workers who struggled with this concept of like, you have to join a certain platform, you have to give them your money, or it's either like, it's like actual people who profit off of your work and you only get like a certain percentage of it, even though like this is the only actual work that's happening.
Yeah.
Right. Which is why I think OnlyFans cool. Like, at least it redirects money to like actual creators. That's a good thing. And so back then I was like really fascinated that with everything that I did, it was in mainstream porn sites, and it was a lot like less hardcore, I'd say. Like, it was very soft, actually. Lots of that was really just nudes. And I was always fascinated. I was like, you can have that for free all the time, right? You can go to these like big sites, cost you nothing. But still, there's so much money going into these things, like with OnlyFans. You do not have to subscribe to an OnlyFans account to see women masturbating, to see people fucking. You don't have to do that. And yet people choose to spend money on that, which means people are actually not so much looking for the visual representation of fucking. They're looking for connection to real people. That's what they're looking for. Like, what's actually stimulating is that there is a real person, right? And that I get to interact with this real person, even if it's just on the minimal level of putting in money, getting a video.
Yeah.
That's still more interaction than just visiting this fucking porn site.
Yes, it's interesting. Like I never used to really get it. Not that I use those sites or would have the funds to be able to fund that habit. But like, there is something about where you see someone on Instagram first, and then you see the link, and then you see the other stuff, because it's like this, almost like a fucking funnel of like, oh, real person. Do you know what I mean? And then oh, they got it. Like, whereas if you went the other way round and went straight in and just saw their OnlyFans, I'm like, there's no human element. It just feels again like another porn site.
Yeah.
But it's so true, and it's also like, it's really sad, isn't it? Because I think it's just highlighting just people just wanting this connection. Like, yeah. I mean, we've all seen like things in movies or whatever, like where you have like, I don't know, the soldiers and they go to a brothel, whorehouse, whatever, and actually all they want to do is talk or be cuddled or whatever.
I think that's a real thing. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
Lots of sex workers tell me that they have a lot of clients that actually just want to talk. It's a thing.
Do you think all men are looking for their mothers?
Oh.
Not necessarily in sex, but as in intimacy in general. Because I was having this conversation with a girlfriend the other day, and she's kind of, like guys, they're always like, wanting to be mothered, and I was like, I don't know if that's I feel like that might be the norm. Like, obviously there's.
Yeah, I think the narrative is a little incomplete. It's not that men are looking for their mothers, it's that people are looking for their parents. I always make this joke about how I used to date men that were like my father, and now I have this long-term stable relationship with a man that looks like my father but is nothing like my father.
Oh, so you got best of both there.
Yeah, exactly.
I went on a day out, it was like a drinking thing. I wasn't drinking, but like a day out, and with like quite a new set of friends. Like, they didn't really know me that much, and we're at the bus stop, and straight away I'm talking about how we're attracted to people who look like our parents. Which people like
cool guy, he's chill.
Yeah, and they're like looking at me like we're looking like really uncomfortable. And I'm like, no, but if you like, I'm like, yeah.
I think guys don't necessarily want to be mothered, but it's a real phenomenon that people reenact their primary relationships. So that is either they're copying the same dynamic, trying to change something about it, or they'll try and turn it into the opposite. But either way, you're projecting your past into your current relationship. And that goes for each and every human that I have ever met.
I suppose it's going to depend on, I suppose, which parent you have a more maybe problematic or, daddy issues, mummy issues, whatever it may be. And then you seek it out.
But also, it might just be that you do not have a very problematic relationship to either of those, and yet still you're reenacting the dynamic that these people had with each other.
Yeah.
Because that shapes your idea of how relationships work, after all. Right? This friend of yours who's like, men just want to be mothered, she probably has a very mothering mother.
Yeah, maybe. I'll ask her.
Or she has a mother that has always struggled with this expectation of being very motherish.
Yeah.
But usually it's just that. Like, we're not very complicated. We're just little kids in like adult bodies. And we're trying to figure out how to do all this stuff.
Do you think AI can replace intimacy?
Jesus Christ, no. I just made this, I don't know if you've seen it. I've made this post with actual examples of like why AI is such a shitty solution for actual interpersonal relationships. Meaning as it does not give you great advice because it doesn't question you. And also it cannot find subtleness in what you're doing, right? And there's no algorithm that could account for the kind of projection that you bring into relationships and so on. So after I made this post, I had a therapy AI reach out to me, whether I wanted to promote their product. And it was like, are you joking?
Yeah.
And like probably the account was just a bot because it liked this specific post and then followed me. And it's just like, it was so absurd to me. I was like, this is exactly the dystopian shit that I imagined a couple of years back. It's like, this is happening now.
Yeah, because you were having the conversation around it, but didn't realize it was actually in a negative.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Because after all, artificial intelligence is not super intelligent. We must remember that.
Not yet.
Not yet. It might become more, but I think it has its limitations, you know. Like to this point today, I think creativity is a limitation in that. And that's a huge factor in being a person. Being an actual human is like creative solution finding. That's a real thing. That's how you make the difference between intelligent species and fucking stones. That's the difference. And so intimacy cannot be replaced at this point because it comes with neurological factors of like co-regulations about the hormones that your body only produces when you're in actual physical contact with other people. So that's like hugging, and then you produce an oxytocin, for example. We have so far not found a way to replace that. As a matter of fact, like I think that's like 120 years ago or so, there was these like terrible experiments of babies not being in physical contact ever at all, but apart from that, being provided all the basic needs. So like food and light and water and, you know, toilets, whatever. And these babies, no joke, they all died.
Wow.
Because your body needs that. Your body needs this kind of contact. And to this day, this hasn't changed. We're basically still like cavemen, just with like more complex cultural dependence.
Yeah.
But the basics haven't changed, and AI cannot provide that so far. Maybe at some point there will be like hyper realistic dolls that maybe they can transcend some sort of like hormonal induced smell or something. I firmly believe that that's still at no point going to work as a replacement.
Yeah, I agree. I think do you know, like, have you noticed or heard about like OpenAI, ChatGPT have had to change the voices?
No.
Yeah, so the original one, I can't remember what she was called, but the original one, and I remember like the first time I had a conversation with it, I noticed, I was like, oh, like something triggered, like, oh, hot. Like, because like, hey, Jason, like, do you know what I mean? I was like,
hi, Jason.
Yeah, like my chimp brain couldn't tell the difference, And like I noticed, I'm not embarrassed to say, like I noticed like downstairs, like something like just like happening, and I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
that's like this is fucking weird.
Yeah.
But like
They had to change it because of that?
and then I found out later that yeah, she disappeared, and then they said, oh, people were like getting too like wanting to talk dirty to it and stuff. Wild. I know. I was at a family gathering this summer, and everyone else was really drunk, and I'm like still wanting to like salvage the night and like have fun, like as a sober person.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, let's have a quiz. We'll do a quiz. I was like, I'll make it with AI. So like I like programmed it into my GPT, and I set up like these conditions. And because I wanted to play, I don't want to be the quiz master. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
don't tell me the answers, but like whatever. And I was like, and then I put her on loudspeaker, and I'm like, and she's like, all right, like guys or whatever. And there's like 3 men in the room, all start like laughing and like going like really like, and I'm like, and I didn't realize what was going on at first because they're drunk as well. They like that would have been triggered in them because I was used to it by this point, like speaking to the AI, but that was their first interaction where like, sure, she sounds hot, like basically. Wild.
Yeah.
But
I remember I've only ever once witnessed someone talking to AI. I have to be very honest that I have only used it for very technical things so far. So I have like, unfortunately, I've had zero fun with it. Which at this point I'm thinking like, it sounds kind of fun for everyone. I'm just like, I don't want to do this task. Do it for me. But so I remember only once hearing the voice of like, this was OpenAI, surely. And someone was like talking to it. And I got so freaked out that it would do these like human things. Like it would say something and mid-sentence go into
yeah, they introduced that.
I was like,
yeah.
No. I got really upset. I was yelling at this person, like the real person. I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not letting this thing fool me into being human by doing human things. It makes me very angry.
Yeah.
I was like, I grew up with fucking RoboCop. I'm not doing this. I was like, this is Terminator shit. I'm not having it.
Yeah. It's I go through periods like I like don't use it as much in that sense, but I would like, so I basically like programmed all of like my goals and stuff into it. Like all deadlines, everything. I like programmed it, and I like told it, and I would basically chat with it as like a coach in that form. But like it's a weird one where it's like your greatest supporter because but it's way too validating because
way too validating.
like yep, and then it's like, yeah, that's a great idea, Jason. Right, let's start drafting the business plan. Like, do you know what I mean? And I'm like, whoa. Like, I'm like, is there not anything you want to pick me up on here? You know, is there something I'm not seeing? But it can't help but but there are positives to it. But like everything and a lot of the stuff we talked about today, self-awareness, and
I think it can be a great tool for like, I'm still thinking like, if this shit can file your taxes, that's an exclusive win for humanity.
Apart from the accountants.
There has, yes. I don't think bureaucracy has ever done anything positive to a society. So if that can be taken over, these like robotic jobs by actual robots, I'm all in favor. Absolutely. That's why I don't hate on artificial intelligence. I don't have it in me. I hate on artificial intelligence replacing human experiences or mimicking human experiences. I'm like, that's not okay. That's just really not okay. And that's a part that makes me very angry, where I'm like, we're already being bullshitted 24/7 by all devices constantly, right? Whether that's your TV, your phone, your computer, you're being bullshitted all the time. It's like the very simple elements of like how the lighting from screens will bullshit your body into thinking this is daylight, right? Hence, you have to stop looking at screens an hour before bed because otherwise you can't sleep. You're being bullshitted all the time. And then also content wise, you're being bullshitted. Social media is bullshitting you into believing that you can always be happy, that you can always be successful, that that's how people live, that that's like real. Even the content that is like, I am showing you how that's not real, that's still not taking into account the whole complexity of human experience. So you're being bullshitted constantly. And I don't need artificial intelligence to up that game. I really don't. It's enough. We've had enough, okay? We need artificial intelligence to file our fucking taxes, to I've just had like a legal thing, and I will let AI write my fucking legal papers. You know what? That's amazing. That's awesome. That's liberating. I love that. Because I don't want to do that, right? And I don't need to do that. Nothing in me thrives from doing that. That's okay. But texting someone, having a conversation with someone, having actual interaction, that's something you should be capable of, and it's something you should be thriving of. Even it's an uncomfortable conversation, that's somewhere you have to learn these things. And if you don't learn these things, then you're fucking screwed. And then you're dependent on stepbrother porn for the rest of your life, and I don't want that for you.
I think that'd be a good place to end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much. This has been fun. Yeah, it's good to catch up, and an interesting conversation on something that's so prevalent at the moment. So I really appreciate your insights on that. Where should people go if they want to check out more of your stuff?
Everything that I do, you can find under my name, Nadja Lasbeck. My website is nadjalasbeck.com. My social media is Nadja Lasbeck. You can find me there. I am a couples and sex therapist. I also teach therapists who want to become sex therapists, if you already work in therapy or somewhat close to that. And I now also do more, more accessible things. So I'll have lectures actually. And those you can also find on my website. But I'm just very happy about it because that's more accessible to the broad society. And I'm hoping that it will catch a few people.
Amazing. Awesome. And I will obviously link all your stuff up in the show notes.
Thank you. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's been lovely.
Great fun.
Hey guys, it's me. Just a quick one before you get going. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end. I really appreciate it. Don't forget, you can check out links to my guests via the episode description below. And a reminder to claim your free VIP pass month at Indiip. Go to indiip.com/podcast. That's indiip.com/podcast. If you're looking to improve your life and build habits, I really think you're going to love this tool. All links are in the episode description. Thanks for watching, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one.